Hello and welcome to NEWSPLUS on Viewer Television. My name is Philip Slevin. The KANO state government has lifted the dawn to DUSK curfew imposed in the state. Now, Newsman reports that the state government on Monday imposed a curfew with a view to avoiding a breakdown of law and order. The order followed the tensions generated from the coalition of results of the governorship and state assembly elections. The State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Muhammad Garba, made the announcement lifting the curfew in a statement issued on Monday night. He said the decision to lift the curfew followed a careful review of the situation and relative calm throughout the state. Governor Bello Matawali of Zamfara State has lost his seat to the opposition People's Democratic Party governorship candidate Dauda Lawal. The Independent National Electoral Commission declared Lawal Dauda as the governor-elect with a total of 377,726 votes. He defeated Matawali of the All Progressive Congress, who polled 311,976. Now, Lawal was declared as the winner of the Gusau, the state capital, in the early hours of Tuesday. The re-elected governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has dedicated his victory at the just concluded governorship election to God and the good people of the state. Makinde, who spoke to newsmen shortly after the Independent National Electoral Commission declared him winner of the election, said that he was overwhelmed by the show of love showered on him by the people of the state. Now, the governor, who was joined by his wife Tamuno Minimin, was flanked by family members, friends, and associates while celebrating the victory at his residence located in Ukolaba area of Ibadan State.
Almost 4 years, we've listened to them. We did not come across them as, all-knowing. We told the people of Oyo State that we may not be right all the time, but we committed to being honest with them all the time. And I think it's just an appreciation of that gave us all of this support. And for me, the reward for hard work is more work. So we will rededicate ourselves, to serve the good people of Oyo State this second term.
According to him, the incoming administration, which is tagged Omitutun 2020, is the film that will be a lot better, sweeter, and more effective when compared to Omitutun 1. The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Lieutenant Colonel Kefas Agbu, winner of last Saturday's governorship elections in Taraba State. Now, Agbu polled a total of 257,926 votes to defeat his closest rival and the candidate of the new Nigeria's People's Party, Professor Sani Yahaya, who got 202,278. And Emmanuel Bacha of the All Progressive Congress, who polled 141,592 votes. The INEC returning officer, Professor Muhammad Abdulaziz, who declared the results, said the PDP candidate won majority votes and satisfied all requirements by law. Barry Andrew, European Union Chief Election Observer Mission Officer, says systematic weakness of election administration can affect Nigeria's democratic process. Andrew made this known at the second news briefing of the mission in Nigeria at the just concluded governorship and state house of assembly elections held last Saturday in the country. You can recall that the governorship and the state house of assembly elections was postponed from March 11 to March 18th to enable configuration of the bimodal voter accreditation system by the Independent National Electoral Commission.
I encourage stakeholders to keep committed to a peaceful process and address any grievances through the courts. In this regard, I am mindful of the fact that various aspects of the presidential election have already been brought before the courts. I understand that petitions may also be submitted regarding several Senate and House of Representatives elections. That being said, it is important that this mission maintains its strict line of impartiality and non-interference in accordance with our observation methodology. Accordingly, I do not propose to discuss matters related to those elections as they are now likely to be sub judice.
According to Andrew, that the coalition process is ongoing and the EUEOM is continuing its observation of the crucial phase of the election. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, News Plus continues. It's good to know that you are still with us on News Plus. Now, moving forward, Wilfred Bones, the governorship candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party in Cross River, says the party will sue the Independent National Electoral Commission over the omission of the party's logo from the ballot paper. He noted that the party had earlier written a letter to INEC to ensure the inclusion of his party's name on the ballot paper instead of only the logo.
This is the very interesting election in which I didn't even have the opportunity of voting myself because I was wrongfully excluded from the ballot box. NNPP was not represented at all in the governorship ballot paper, and that's not acceptable. We're going to sue for wrongful exclusion. You know, we're going to take it to the highest peak, and we're going to claim our mandate.
Also, Caroline Williams, the NNPP senatorial candidate of Cross River North in the recent concluded presidential and National Assembly elections held on February 25th, said she was also on ground to cast her vote in her polling unit at Mbube East Ward 2.
Well, I didn't expect INEC to act differently. They have deliberately raised NMPP out of the 2023 elections in Cross River State. First, it was my senatorial and presidential election. My party logo was nowhere to be found in the ballot boxes and papers. And, you know, I raised concerns about this. And as you can see, nothing was done in the Guba election. The same thing happened to our Guba candidate. His name was on the ballot box. This is a deliberate act, and I feel this is unfair, and I know we are definitely going to pay for it.
No fewer than 27 persons were killed during the March 18 governorship and House of Assembly elections across the country, a report by a leading intelligence organization, SB Intelligence, stated on Monday. The deaths were recorded in 10 states out of 28 where governorship elections were conducted, according to the report. The report said at least 6 persons were killed on election day in River and Benue State, while 5 died in Delta, 3 in Lagos, 2 in Akwa Ibom, and 1 each in Cross River, Ebonyi, Niger, Kebbi, and Katsina states. The organization said the casualty figure might be more as it was still working to confirm more incidents rather. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has announced a 20% increase in the salaries of civil servants in the mainstream public service. Others to benefit from the new structure that takes effect from January 1st, 2023 include those in local government areas, local council development areas, State Universal Basic Education Board. This was disclosed in a statement by the Lagos State Head of Service, Hakeem Muri Okunola. Now, this action further demonstrates the administration's commitment to staff welfare. Public servants are enjoined to show more commitment and dedication in the delivery of quality service to the citizens of the state. An unnatural disaster fire incident has occurred at the White House section of the Onitsha market in Anambra State. The section, popularly called Bongboro, serves as a warehouse and also where lace and other clothing materials are being sold, and it is located at the back of the market. No one could ascertain the actual cause of the fire, but the inferno, which started in the early hours of Tuesday, had destroyed multi-million naira worth of goods. The traders were seen running helter-skelter as they tried to salvage the remaining of their goods while calling for the men of the fire service. A former registrar, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, Professor Dibu Ojerinde, has sued the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission for alleged unlawful arrest. Now, Newsman reports that Ojerinde, in a suit filed before Justice Obiora Guatu, is seeking an order to enforce his fundamental rights following his rearrest on January 26 on the court premises and his subsequent detention. The matter, which was listed on Monday's cause list alongside the earlier money laundering suit filed against him by the Anti-Corruption Commission, could not proceed. ICPC had accused the ex-JAM boss of diverting public funds to the tune of 5 billion naira and charged him with 18 counts of money laundering. And away from Nigeria, President Vladimir Putin said deepening ties between Russia and Africa was a key goal for the Kremlin as Moscow seeks to expand its influence on the continent. Now, he added that Russia will continue supplying the continent with grains if Moscow exits a landmark agreement with Ukraine to allow exports from the country's Black Sea ports. Putin's comments came as Moscow is seeking deeper political, economic, and military ties in Africa and Asia as Russia becomes increasingly isolated on the international stage over conflict in Ukraine.
Если мы все-таки примем решение не продлять эту сделку через 60 суток, то мы готовы весь тот объем, который был направлен за предыдущее время в особо нуждающиеся страны Африки, поставить из России в эти страны.
Now, South Africa's opposition held rallies under the tight security in a bid to force out President Cyril Ramaphosa over his handling of the country's sickly economy and crippling energy crisis. But turnout was low and calls for strikes went unheeded as the government mobilized thousands of police backed by troops to stifle any unrest. The left-wing economic freedom fighters, the country's third largest party, had called for a national shutdown, sparking fears of a repeat of bloody clashes and looting just under 2 years ago. Under close escort and with a police helicopter overhead, several thousand protesters marched in the capital Pretoria to Ramaphosa's official residence, passing the seat of government, the Union's building.
To demand the resignation of Cyril Ramaphosa, who has presided over the misery of our people in South Africa, the massive unemployment, 11.8 million people are unemployed.
That finally the people of South Africa are uniting against Cyril Ramaphosa, against this failed government, and that this united voice, whether it's today or tomorrow, will eventually force him out of office. That I can guarantee you.
Now, the IPCC, an organization of experts conveyed by the United Nations, published an extensive report warning about the disastrous effects that global warming predictions are expected to have on humanity by the early 2030s. Many social media users have called out these claims, pointing out that past climate doom predictions have been wrong for decades. However, He-Ho insisted the predictions were not wrong and instead uncertainty comes from humanity. Nawaz commented on United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres' statement, also made that day when he warned that the climate time bomb is ticking. Now, protests erupted in the center of Paris and other French cities as demonstrators clashed with police who used tear gas to clear some areas after the government narrowly survived 2 votes of no confidence in the aftermath of President Emmanuel Macron pushing through recent pension reform. Now, protests were reported on Monday night in Dijon, Strasbourg, where protesters smashed the windows of a department store. More than 100 people were arrested in Paris alone in tense standoff between protesters and security forces, police said. Now, on some of the French capital's most prestigious avenues, firefighters scrambled to put out piles of burning rubbish left uncollected for days due to strikes and set on fire by protesters.
Mais parce qu'on pense que c'est un sujet qui ne nous concerne pas, mais alors qu'en fait, justement, si aujourd'hui nos grands-parents ils vont devoir arrêter de taffer tard, nous, on sait que ce sera pire, puisque en gros, c'est le chemin qu'on prend depuis une vingtaine d'années avec des politiques de plus en plus libérales et qui répondent au capitalisme, alors que nous, on décide que c'est le peuple qui compte avant tout.
Et c'est trop important parce qu'on s'est foutu de nous, on ne voit pas l'avenir. Et le peu d'avenir qu'on peut entreapercevoir avec les droits sociaux qu'on avait avant, qui sont en train d'être cassés, on nous l'enlève. C'est pour ça qu'on est là.
And with that story, we come to the end of NEWSPLUS for now. Remember, what you do now will justify tomorrow. Well, my name is Philip Slevin, and on behalf of the rest of the production team, do have a lovely day.